Yeah, greetings one more time. I greet you, and from Enterprise TV, this is yours sincerely, Citizen Jones Hussein, welcoming you to Homo Politicus, a show that interrogates issues thrown up by my Nigerian Federation and yours too. Today, Senator Ningi returns from suspension. Let bygones be bygones, Senate President begs. But is it always so? Let's go there. Now, the first German chancellor and political theorist, Otto von Bismarck, reflected on politics dispassionately when he said, politics is not an exact science. Well, while this position may be debatable, let me submit humbly that politics involves the study of political systems, behavior, and theories which all lack the precision found in exact sciences like mathematics or physics. Politics, for me, is a game of intrigues. Bauchi Central Senator Abdul Ningi resumed his legislative duties on Tuesday after a 3-month suspension in March for saying the 2024 budget was padded. Now, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, speaking on the spur of the moment, remarked that Ningi was a resourceful individual that the Red Chamber needed. Let bygones be bygones, Akpabio begged. Ningi, on his part, thanked the Senate for recalling him, and it begs the question, are Nigerians persuaded or convinced? I know that in politics, when you bury the hatchet but leave the handle protruding, all is still not well. Shall we have a conversation, please? My two discussants you already know. The one is attorney at law and national affairs commentator, and by extension, director, Voter Awareness Initiative, Barrister Wale Ogwande. I greet you, Barrister Ogwande. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Then we have Akin Fatunke, the unputdownable Akin Fatunke, chartered accountant and political commentator. Akin, I welcome you too.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Jones. Nice to be here, as always.
Well, the subject, gentlemen, is not new to you. You remember what sent Senator Abdul Ningi into suspension. Now he's back after 2 months out of the supposed 3 months. Senate President is saying, let bygones be bygones. Is any of you persuaded by this?
Yeah, I don't know about Freudian slip, but in your intro, and I hope our listeners got a bit of a slip and you quickly recalled what you said, governor, and then you said, no, senator. I look into my crystal ball where political patronage and the kind of trend that you see, I predict he might be the next incoming governor of Bauchi State. Please mark my lips.
I'm reading it.
And we must also say that if politics is who gets what, where, whom, Senator Abdul Ningi perhaps has paid his dues from the House to Senate, and smoking and shooting from the hips some 3 months ago, and then is going to go away and sin no more, and is now being embraced. So who is fooled? And then I saw a lot of hot hair.
If anybody is.
I saw a lot of hot hair from the PDP and perhaps the LP when this was going on. This is impossible. You have a lot of cover-up. And I remember that fateful day when he packed his files and was virtually walked out of the Senate chambers. He made a statement that
obviously
I think
he didn't leave the chambers a happy man.
Well, maybe mixed. Because he said that, well, I know I'll be back, and my own day and time will come when I'll be able to, or I should be able to, be allowed to prove, in quotes, my case. Now he's back, now being embraced, and he actually has acknowledged the fact that his suspension being cut by 1 month is one of the best things for their magnanimity. And so both sides are doing backslapping, saying, and he's saying that he's going to try and play ball. I see situations
but playing ball is the name of the game.
Is the name of the game, as long as it enters the net. And, your constituency projects goes on, and then when you see something, you don't have to say something. You know how to open your mouth. I am not in any way saying that I agree, with the initial stance of padding or no padding, and that which is another subject, because I know Olamilekon did say that when the whole thing went through the normal stages of reading, nothing was heard. Is it the hand of Jacob and the voice of Esau that we are beginning to see? So when we begin to see same of same, don't have a difference between 6 and half a dozen. Again, the game goes on. Are we moving developmentally? That episode is recalled. Is it improving the processes that we expect to see? No. In my view, are lessons learned? Are we talking about environment? Are we talking about the budget, which the president, I understand, has promised that should be hitting the National Assembly in ways that we can do bottoms up? I hope appropriate lessons will be learned, has been learned, and that all budget heads must, one, be adequately explained. Secondly, with my friend and professional colleague still in the budget office, talking about Mr. Ben Akabuezi, will be allowed to do his job the way it should be done, and that we are not going to be having this shame of shame that I think we see in the National Assembly. We will see.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Akin. Wale, now Akin tends to agree with Otto von Bismarck when I quoted him. Politics is not an exact science.
Obviously, politics is not an exact science. And I like the way it was couched. Mathematics, 1 + 1
is 2. That's
in politics,
exact.
The theory, the various Pythagoras theory.
Becomes 11.
Sometimes 1 + 1 is not equal to.
No, that's what you want to prove.
Under the binary system.
Well, but in mathematics, I didn't say binary. I didn't say in add maths. I did add maths in A levels in Baptist Academy.
Oh,
right.
Oh, you did.
I did A levels. I did add maths in A levels.
Right.
But be that as it may, don't let us go too far. Where I'm going is that in science,
you did add maths, not Entebbe maths.
You did add maths or minus maths.
It's additional mathematics. That's why they call it add maths.
Okay.
But be that as it may.
Yeah.
In science, it is deal 2 + 2. The only thing is that even in economics, we say ceteris paribus. All things are not equal. And economics is a science too. Economics is a science, but all things sometimes are not equal. But in politics, again, politics is a science.
Economics is not an exact science.
It's not like politics. No, it's a social science. No, both of them are in the same compartment. I studied politics in school too. And politics, you call it political science. So it's a science. But again, science is not exactly. Your character, the character of the other party are quite different. The way they react is different. Where am I going is that bygones can never be bygone.
In politics. In
politics and even in the Ningi situation. Let me establish it. Don't forget, Ningi now has been looked at as a scapegoat, as a man Friday, as a loudmouth. You can be sure.
Or as the French would say, enfant terrible.
Yes, enfant terrible, yes. So to that extent, whenever the next budgeting system or anything that wants to be done about something like that is to be discussed in the Senate, you can be sure that he will be kept off, because they will say, we don't trust you, my brother. Bygones can never be bygones. Even if he pretends to be as honest as and holier than the Pope, he will still be subject to that thing. Suspect. They will suspect his conduct, his character. It is politicians don't trust themselves. Note that. Politicians don't trust themselves because their aim and their intentions is the election. Will he rock the boat? They're in the next electoral cycle. Is he a liability?
Can he be trusted?
Can he be trusted? Is he valuable? Like I do tell people, for your information, if people don't have a voter's card, as far as I'm concerned, they have no electoral value. So he too, in that situation, he's not somebody that they can trust. I don't know. Well, you see, the Bible tells us that if a man be in Christ, all things are passed away. So how he can now metamorphose into a new person that they will trust him is another thing. It's not even by his conduct. I don't know how he's going to do it. So bygones can never be bygones. And for your information, sir, I know Akpabio very well. He's a smart politician who knows how to railroad himself and get anything through the use of words. Don't forget, he's a great orator. He's a lawyer. And he knows his onions very well. And he will do everything to ensure that he gets what he wants. And what he was trying to do with Ningi, was he not the one who ensured that the man was punished for that crime, as it were? Now, if you now call and say, yes, let bygone be bygone, definitely, it's just lip service. It didn't get, you watch and see. You watch and see. Very soon now, things will begin to unfold.
Otto von Bismarck, who I quoted a while back, has so many quotes to his credit. Another one is, only a fool learns from his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others.
I tell you.
But we are not learning, or are we?
No, like the bones of France, learned nothing, forgotten nothing. And my dear brother has talked about being an orator. Yes, I know that Godswill Akpabio is a man of uncommon transformation. And sometimes maybe those transformations are like the integer could pull you backwards or pull you forward. But in the eyes of the discerning public, I agree with you that some of these things might not go away. But you see, in the class caste system that we have with our politicians, there will always be a consensus within them when they are within the coven. The coven whereby you share, and that when you are on the table, you don't shake the table until perhaps when you are now pushed to the periphery, you now want to do a wailing wailer. I foresee situations where brinkmanship is on. I foresee situations where let's wait, watch, and see what will happen in 2027 is started. And in terms of the kind of politics that we are going to see. But legacy is at play here. I agree that if you are a man or a woman of morals and of ethics, you have been rough-handled one way or the other, and if you have all those facts, ceteris paribus, like you said, you have all those facts, there are a few things you can do behind the coven when we are not all going to see. We are not going to allow a situation where items that we had budgeted for has been received perhaps, or has been paid for, should not be made to come back to be represented. And that goes on not just at the federal, it's also going on at the states. The due diligence to just make sure we cross the T's and dot the I's. And Well, I also want to say that within the coping of the thieves, sometimes, comes a time when a felon or a thief is on his way to Damascus. He might see light. He might hear a voice.
Yes.
And he might have some transformation.
Yes.
Or an intuition.
I believe whether you are Labour Party, whether you are APC, whether you are NMPP,
or BBC,
or whether you are PDP,
or BBC,
whatever it is, Nigeria is being pushed to the frontiers of self-immolation. The poor have gotten to a stage where they will begin to swallow the rich. I expect a Ningi, it could be any other person, to not then say, hey, remember the Ides of March? We may have to find ways and means of catering more for the welfare of the masses. Now, it's not going to be free lunch, but let it be seen that we in the National Assembly, the immediate constituency, begin to learn sense. This SUV or no SUV, refurbishing and not prioritizing, within us in the National Assembly, can we begin to put priorities around them? Can we begin to therefore ask for what I may call an impossible goal now, to restructure Nigeria? Yes, may I be Ningi? I may have my own private interests in the north, from the northern hegemony. The only way Nigeria can survive and our legacies can be protected is to change the constitution. We must get around to change the constitution. Can you be a champion in that direction, even if you are going to be shut down? Therein lies the Otto von Bismarck thing that, look, at the end of the day, not only Machiavelli should say that the end justifies the means, but it should justify it well and good. Can the National Assembly begin to revamp itself? Can we begin to say, from this budgetary thing, you can't cover my mouth, like fella would have said, I will have to say it, can we begin an open governance? What we earn? What should constituency or no constituency? Can we begin to now then show Nigerians that we are here for the good of all? If that is done, oh yes. But if that is not done, more of rougher fights in the office.
I am constrained at this point to quote Otto von Bismarck again. This is for Wale Barrister Ogwande. Otto von Bismarck says, when you want to fool the world, tell the truth.
Well, I don't know. My problem is that I want to see if I can do a little reaction to what he said before coming to your truth.
Yeah.
And that little reaction, I'll just do it in form of quoting the Bible. Fortunately, our Father in the Lord this morning gave us something, we call it the open heavens, about the will of God, about God intervening in people's life. There was a famine in the land. God sent Elijah to a woman whom he has prepared to feed him. Before then, God has been sending birds to feed him. But where am I going? Before the woman did not know the woman at all, and the woman did not know. But eventually, when they met, he told him her problem, that I only have one little meal that I want to go and bake and a cruse of oil. And the man told her, go.
After we chop this,
we go die, but that was saying, no, don't worry, there is no death here. Just go and do as I say. But where am I going? Is that gradually, I can assure you, sir, that when I started this advocacy, people thought I was a madman. But we are going somewhere. And with what we are doing today and all the other stations that they have done earlier in the day, it is advocacy, rousing the interest of the people towards good governance. And we'll get there one day, sir.
Oh, yes.
We will get there one day. Because we didn't believe that government, because when we started, there is this principle of, sitting, what do they call those who are sitting governors? Incumbency factor. The incumbency factor never allowed anybody to be removed as a governor. But now they are removed. Sitting presidents have been removed. So we are going somewhere. So to that extent, the issue of constitution and so on, you will just see it one day when the Spirit of God just fall upon them. They believe, they don't believe, they will work against it, because now
they have no choice.
They have no choice. For now, we will just continue to do our work. Those who can pray, let them pray. Those of us who can do advocacy, let us do advocacy. And then we'll move it further. Then, to your question, there is nothing like truth in politics.
Okay.
There is nothing. The whole thing about politics is deceit. And that's why my brother brought it out some few seconds ago. What we have is politics. And it's full of tricks. They will tell you something, and they will do another thing. And that's the hallmark of it, particularly the Nigerian politician. And again, is one of the things that we'll see, we'll send packing. Because it's about deliverables. What you say you'll do is what we'll be doing, we'll be marking you. You said you'll do this, you said you'll do that. You said, not that when you get there, you now shut the windows, drive in tinted glasses, and nobody sees you. That shouldn't be.
Okay. Aki, again, the index finger of the producer tells me we have less than 5 minutes to go. So I want to lift another quote from Otto von Bismarck. It's relevant to this discussion. He says, people who love sausage and people who love justice should never watch either of them being made. Does it make sense to you?
I think it makes some logic.
Yeah.
And goes back to your former quote about the truth. Wale has said there is no truth in politics. Well, it's true. I also hear that there is no absolute truth with baristas and lawyers, except accountants, as if we can never be true. Certainly,
I won't make a reply.
Citizen Jones, and in his broadcasting field, can also say, for all intents and purposes, that he sees the truth. However, I will tweak that a little bit. Thou shalt know the truth,
and the truth will set you free.
And the knowledge of the truth will set you free. And I'm going to add, but it will first of all make you angry. In all what you have said, Wale, and with all the quotes that Citizen Jones has brought on, Nigeria has gotten to a state of a dialectical getting to a position of saying we know the truth. The economy is bad, it's gone bonkers, you know, and the situation is dog eat dog, begin to swallow one another. But the bitter truth that we all are seeing, but pretending as if we do not see, is that it's going to make us angry a little bit. Wale?
Yes, sir.
I pray I'm wrong. And I sincerely pray I'm wrong. And I don't know whether blood is still going to flow. I still don't know how much it's going to cost us. But there's going to be a struggle in this country in respect to getting a fresh mint constitution that can work for us. Whether we go regionalism, whether we do whatever it is. You know, go agree, I go agree. It will get to a stage that whether you say you agree or you don't agree, that is going to be the direction.
Yeah.
And the kingdom of heaven suffereth the violence, they say. And
only the violence.
It has to be taken by force. Nigeria has to be taken by force.
By the violent.
And that is the bitter truth that will not be palatable to some ears, but they will eventually come like the law of osmosis.
Except that we live in a relative world. Truth is relative here. So let me, the final quote I want to lift from Otto von Bismarck is this one. I hope you understand. It will make more sense to our brother, Barrister Ogunade. With bad laws and good civil servants, it's still possible to govern. But with bad civil servants, even the best laws can't help.
Smooth. That's what we are going through in Nigeria.
Okay.
The civil servants are...
the man was thinking Nigeria.
He was thinking, in fact, it is Nigeria. The civil servants in Nigeria, because whenever there is any fraud,
you see the finger of the civil servant there.
Is one, they point one at the governor or whoever is the political appointee, but it's not the governor's office, it's the civil service. The money is stolen from government coffers in care of the civil servant, the PS and all his guys. If the governor gets to office or the minister gets to office, he knows nothing. It is the civil servants that he will meet there, that will give him direction. And with all intents and purposes, Organa, so we do am. Organa, so we do am. And he too, he will follow suit. And anyone of this Oga who does not want to do am this way that they do am, normally, in one way or the other, they know how to get him out.
Yeah. Except that I'm appalled when I recall the situation. Former Minister Adenike
Grange
fell into.
Grange.
The Obasanjo, yes.
Grange. You got it right. That's where I was going. You be witch? Or you be wizard?
We're thinking it's a combination of both.
I suspect you. How did you read my mind that fast?
It's the statement you made that
So, in Nigeria, the civil servants are the one that have brought Nigeria to this level.
Oh, yes.
You can be sure the success of any administration is tied around the neck of a civil servant. If the civil service supports and cooperates, they succeed.
All right, folks, we must apply the brakes here, but not before reminding you that the debate may continue from your part of town. Suspension of Ningi, Senator Abdul Ningi. Let bygones be bygones. Senator Abdul Ningi resumes work at the Senate after suspension. Senate President is saying, let bygones be bygones. But is it always so? Let the debate continue from your part of town. But we are done here. But let me thank my two discussants, Barrister Wale Ogunade. Many thanks for your time, sir.
To God be the glory.
No less so, Mr. Akin Fatunke, many thanks for your intervention.
Thank you for inviting me.
So we are out of here until the next time. Until then, this is Citizen Jones Hussein saying bye-bye now. Take care.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.